Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. Today we are going to talk about the Dusthanas, the so-called tough, challenging or bad houses that all of us have in our horoscopes, and sometimes they create a lot of trouble for us. And we are very fearful of those houses as well, and from time to time they get triggered, they get activated, and they bring upon various situations in their lives which trouble us and which may also at that particular point of time make us go through some turmoils which we would rather not want to get into and we would like to avoid. So what are these Dusthanas and why have they been described as Dusthanas? Firstly, we need to go back a little bit into history to understand these Dusthanas, or the bad houses, which are the 6th, 8th and 12th houses, and why have they been termed as bad houses or the Dusthanas, and why they are not so much of Dusthanas as in today's times. Though their effect completely has not gone off, they are still houses which bring us challenges. However, they are not bad houses, but equally opportunity giving houses also, especially in today's times. So in today's times, don't look at some houses as great houses and some houses as absolutely trouble bringing houses. Do a balance, because today we are in the age of Rahu, we are in the age of the malefic energies overshadowing the so-called benefic energies. We have Rahu, which is a planet of deception, guile, manipulation, tact, diplomacy, and pulling the wool over somebody's eyes, and the make-believe, the show, which may not be there. So similarly, in our lives today, it is all about marketing, branding, how you present yourself, how you do up things, how do you do up yourself. It is the time of grooming and even doing something to your body and showcasing those things which you're not naturally born with, and sprucing up your profiles, and having a larger car than somebody else. So this is a time of more show than actually having that meats inside you, or the iron inside you, or the solidity inside you. So times have changed a little bit. Earlier the Dusthanas were called the Dusthanas because people led more sattvic lives, people led more genuine lives, people were straightforward, people were honest, people were ethical. So even the slightest of things which force them towards unethical actions or less than honest actions, they saw them as actions which may bring about ridicule from society, may bring about disrespect from society, and hence those kind of actions where you manipulate somebody, you are slimy, you cheat, or you show people what you are not, or you do yourself up to look different from who you are than what natural looks you have, then such actions were frowned upon. Today it is the reverse. 6th house as the Dusthana is what house? It is the house of, from the ancient Shastras, from the shlokas, it is said to be a house of sickness, but also hidden enemies and competition. Today, without sitting through a competitive exam, you may not make through getting into high school or into a better degree, or getting an engineering seat, getting a medical seat, any seat that you want, any institute of higher repute you want to go in, you will have to compete with others. You can't make do without competition. In earlier times, references worked. The good name of the father and the respect of the father worked to an extent in support of the child. Belonging to a certain caste, belonging to a certain tribe also had a lot of respect, and people were given opportunities, and just education also helped people getting that. Today, in spite of having a college degree, you need to sit through a competitive exam for an IAS, for an IPS, for an administrative services exam, and host of other exams that you need to sit in to compete and then excel to come out on tops. Apart from that, there are 10 other certifications you may need to add to be able to compete with others. So sixth house is an absolutely critical house in today's times, the times of competition, the time of not allowing others to get over you, not allowing the hidden enemies of the competition to overshadow you. So sixth house is very, very important. Second, earlier times the word was very important. If somebody gave you their word, they would honor it. And if you accuse somebody that they're giving their word or they promise something, very often they would not lie. Then they would accept that yes, they honored, they did give their word. Today, word is not very important. Today you need documentation proofs. To an extent where you need to read the fine printed line also. Many times we get forms which we sign without checking the fine printed line. Later on we get to know from the organization or the company, if you want to sue them, that you sign on such and such a clause which doesn't allow you to sue us, because it is the fine printed line. So we get a bundle of host of 10, 16, 20 documents. We can't read all of them because of the fine print. We end up signing those documents, and then we find that our hands are tied. So today's time is of documentation, getting the last document right, and that's why the sixth house is very important, because the sixth house is also the house of inviting trouble from legal entities, from not having or court cases. When will you face court cases? When you don't have very strong documentation to support yourself, whether it's the ownership of a house or whether you have done the right thing at work, through emails, through the presentation that you have, or through the data that you have which backs you and tells that you have done the right thing. So today the time is of documentation, of ensuring that all your paperwork is tight. Otherwise somebody may shortchange you, somebody may even take you to court, and somebody may usurp your property or put you in trouble at your job or your workplace also, or accuse you of not doing your work. That's why we have, when you sign a document at work, you look at all the papers, what your role is, what your job description is, what your salary is. You read it through, and then you sign a copy and you keep a copy with you. That's why the sixth house, the house of documentation, competition, is very, very critical. And the sixth house is also the house of service. Today there are two very, very important arenas that the world is divided into. One is products and one is services. Of course there are other elements also, but majorly the world is divided into these two entities. And the services are something which by virtue of how you offer your service, in what manner. If you're a surgeon, you're not giving a product, but you're offering your services as an expert. If you're a consultant, finance management or wealth management, again you offer your services as a consultant, as an expert. So for those services you are paid astronomical sums, much higher than even a product. So services are the key. 60 to 70% of the jobs around the world are related to services. Even if the company is in manufacturing, there will be customer service, there will be after sales service, there will be redressal department. So there will be a lot of services which will be there in spite of products being there. So the service industry will have services, may not have a product. But even a product distributing or manufacturing company will still have some part of services in them. And that's why the sixth house, the house of service, career, is very, very important. And that's why if you really want to ensure that you do very well, you need to ensure that the sixth house is strong, your sixth house Lord's placement is very, very strong. Otherwise you may face challenges in all these entities. And the sixth house is 12 to the 7th house. So sixth house also becomes the loss of relationship house. And so to safeguard your relationship, because earlier times we used to live in joint families, we had large families, and sometimes the interaction with the spouse was much more limited than in today's time, the time of nuclear families. A couple decides where they want to finance their money, where they want to take their house, how the education of their children will be done. Earlier, especially in the countries in the subcontinent, especially like in India, there would be a lot of involvement with elders of what you should do, what you should not do, and the guidance of a lot of others was important, especially in joint families, which is today's time, which is very, very less. So this is also an important house from a perspective of how you are able to handle all the areas of the sixth house, especially the relationship part also. If you are not strong, if you don't keep the relationship strong, if you have a weak sixth house, especially if it shares energies with the seventh house, then your relationship may suffer. And the relationship with the spouse is one of the most critical relationship that you may have, and the most long lasting one, and it could be a make or break for your life if you don't have a proper relationship. And that's why the sixth house should be strong to ensure that the loss of relationship doesn't happen. Same thing with the eighth house. The eighth house is the house of trauma, sudden upheavals, sudden challenges. It is the house of other people's money, and also the house of taxations, the house of research, the house of those entities which control those parts of life which are hidden. This is also to an extent the house of Rahu, and it is also the house of getting money through the will of somebody in the family, through the will of a father or a mother or anybody else. So if you really want to ensure that you are protected, you don't face sudden upheavals, you don't have sudden challenges, health challenges, sudden trauma, sudden accidents, loss of money. A lot of property in today's time is also held in joint accounts, because both the couple are working, and so they take a joint property. So that eighth house becomes important, because otherwise if the eighth house is weak, you can't have joint property, or if you have a joint property you may lose that property. It is also the house of in-laws. Sometimes we need to depend on in-laws, especially if the couple is working, because then the in-laws or the grandparents of the children may help and support in taking care of them, at least for some time of period of your life, so that the couple can focus on their work and not be troubled all the time about what the children may be doing. So then the eighth house becomes very, very important, and because the eighth house is directly seventh to the second house, so the eighth house is very, very important. Any planet in the eighth house is aspecting the second house of income and savings, and if you're not earning enough, and if you're not saving enough in today's time, then your life is not comfortable, life is not really happy. Because a lot of our life is around material pursuits, the phone, the car, the house, everything around that. And that's why the 8th and the 2nd house, that axis becomes important. The 6th and 12th share the same axis. Any planet in the 6th is of course influencing the 6th house, but also aspecting the 12th house. And that's why the 6th 12th axis and the 2nd and 8th axis are very, very important. And the other thing is the any planet which is ruling the 6th or 8th or the 12th house or place in that is also aspecting many other houses. So in a way the influence of the 6th, 8th and 12th house or their lord is over many more houses than only those houses, and that's why the 6th, 8th and 12th houses and their lords and planets placed in them are very, very important, because they have a much larger reach in your life and in your horoscopes than just the limit and just being limited to the 6th, 8th and the 12th. And then the 12th house is the house of solitude, is the house of foreign culture, foreign associates, foreign consultants, going to foreign lands, working in foreign lands, foreign companies. So in today's time, most of our products are foreign. Our televisions are foreign, our phones are foreign, most of our electronic appliances are foreign. The lift that we use to in our buildings is foreign. Our watches to a large extent are foreign. So a lot of our life is controlled by foreign products, foreign clients. Most of the big companies, large companies in the world are MNCs, multinational corporations, who have presence felt in many countries. And the most highest earning people, the most intelligent people are generally the people who are working in such MNCs, who get to travel across borders, get to work with different cultures, and get to earn and influence much larger societies and companies than those who may be working in local companies. And that's why, with the world today being a global village and technology being very important, the 12th house is very important. Second, the 12th house is also the house of solitude, which is coming from some huge challenge that we face in life, which could be even faced from the authorities, from the law authorities. It is the house of jail, it is the house of going away or being banished, or having forced to flee from or go away from the place of your birth for long periods of time, away from your loved ones. So it is also the house of foreign affairs today, foreign areas today. So if your 12th house is not very strong, you may not have a strong chance of working in MNCs, you may not have a strong chance of going to foreign lands or settling in foreign lands. And 12th house is also the house of waste and excess. You may spend huge amounts of money in wasting resources. You may waste huge amounts of money not being able to control things in your life, and that's why this is critical that you also save on your expenses. You don't binge, or you don't spend more than you can afford, and that's why the 12th house is also very important. So if these are very important houses, the Dusthanas, the 6th house, the 8th house and the 12th house are very important, and their strength is very important, otherwise they have the tendency or they have the capability to invite trouble. How do we ensure that these houses are strong? And without these being strong, we will not be able to get the fruits that we may get out of the 6th house through scoring in competition, by getting a legacy through the 8th house, to getting an inheritance through the 8th house, because the 8th house is also the house of inheritance, by ensuring that you save in taxes, you are able to hold joint property, you are able to do research, you are able to use the 8th house of analysis to your betterment, and then through the 12th house be able to work in large organizations and MNCs, hold high positions, and also be able to go to foreign lands, stay in foreign lands, and profit from foreign lands. And so unless these three houses are important, are strong, you will not be able to get the better fruits out of them. However, in fact you may be facing troubles from them, and that's why strengthening these houses are very important. How do we strengthen these three houses? We can strengthen the 6th house by ensuring that all our documentation is spick and span. We don't do shortcuts. We have a keen eye on, and we are always looking out for competition. We have good relationship with our colleagues, and we don't make many enemies, and we are wary of, and we have an open eye and open ear to who could be the people who are working behind our backs. We keep a good network, social network, so that we know if there is anybody who is acting behind our back. Our friendly extended network tells us, informs us, and always be wary of which area, which industry are going in, what kind of competition you may face, what kind of people you may face, and preparing yourself accordingly, creating or enhancing your behavior to be more cordial, to be more friendly, so that you may come across as somebody who may be competing but without a bad intention for anybody. So people are okay with that kind of competition, because each one of us is competing for our own space. Each one of us is competing for our growth, for our for promotions and all that. So it's important that we are friendly to people in spite of competing with them at the workplace. To strengthen the 8th house, it's important that we take care of those things which can happen suddenly. For example, when we leave our houses, say to go for a vacation or something, we ensure that we lock our houses, we check the gas cylinder, we check the electricity supply. A lot of us may have security cameras. Then we inform the neighbors that we are not going to be there. We may have a webcam which is on, so that we can track what's happening in the house from outside. So we do a host of things to protect the houses. And then, in spite of all of that, we may have insurance about the house. We may have insurance for our appliances, and also the safety and security of house through fire insurance and others, so that the chances of loss is very, very reduced. So as long as you ensure that you are taking care of your cars and vehicles and keeping them in order, always ensuring they are in top condition, they are serviced very well, the chances of accidents or trauma happening are reduced. Wearing a helmet, wearing a seat belt, driving safely, then you take care of one aspect of the 8th house. The other aspect is ensuring that your taxes are paid on time. You don't keep secrets, you don't divulge secrets to others, and you don't keep too many secrets also. You keep your password safe, you keep your things safe, you don't go around snooping in other people's lives, because snooping in other people's lives is trying to take other people's secrets, other people's mysteries. So then you are doing unethical behavior in matters related to the 8th house. So refrain from that. Don't take untoward or unnecessary interest in other people's lives. Don't snoop around them, their lives. Don't try to get into their secrets. Don't use anybody's secrets against them. Don't manipulate people. Don't use that information to your advantage. Keep ethical conduct related to other people's secrets, other people's hidden aspects, other people's skeletons. Then your skeletons will not come out. You will not face trauma. And then keep in the best of health, because the 8th house is also the house of sudden trauma, which could lead to chronic ailments if 6th and 8th house share energies, or long-term hospitalization and even death if all three are very, very bad in situation. Then the dasha of any of these, antardasha of 6th and 8th house dasha, or 12th and 8th house dasha and antardasha, may bring about even death-like troubles or even death. So that's why it's important that you take care of your health regimen, exercise regularly, and follow right diet and follow a healthy lifestyle is very, very important to strengthen the 8th house. To strengthen the 12th house, which is also the house of waste and excess, first is that ensure that you control your expenses and control where you're putting in effort. Work hard, but work smart more than hard work, because if you work hard but work hard on doing smart work, then you're not wasting your energies, you're not wasting your effort. Create a budget for your money. Create a budget for where your money is going, in which direction you're spending the money. Put away some money in fixed deposits and long-term holdings, so that you will not take that money out to spend unnecessarily. Always make a list of things that you want to buy rather than going out and buying suddenly. Don't just step into a mall or a shopping center, then look and think what you need to buy. Go with the list and try and stick to the list as much as possible, which is difficult for some of us, but the better that you are able to hold, the better for you. Ensure that you don't get on the wrong side of law. Always follow the law, follow the instructions, know what the civic laws are, know what criminal laws are, and follow them. Keep a lawyer, have good relations with your lawyer, so that you are protected in any case of any challenges coming to you. And be a good citizen. Be in the local groups where people get together, they share each other's challenges or problems, so that you know who's what in the neighborhood, who's holding important roles, whether it's a municipal commissioner, it is a police officer, the local MLA, and have the relation, so that these guys can help you when the situation goes tough, because the matters of the 12th house are matters which can bring about big challenges. So friends, as long as you are working on the areas of the 6th house, 8th house and the 12th house and strengthening them, these create opportunities for you. Strengthening the 12th house will bring about better results from foreign lands, foreign clients, working in MNCs, staying away from challenges from the law. Strengthening the 6th house will bring you better roles, better work, better career, good roles, career enhancement, and also saving you from the troubles of litigation, court cases, loss of relationship, unnecessary hidden enemies always working behind the back. And the 8th house, you will be safe from trauma, you will gain inheritance, you will save money from taxations, you will be doing well in research, and your skeletons will not fall out of the cupboard, and other people will not make use of it, and sudden challenges, sudden trauma will not come about you. So friends, please strengthen your 6th, 8th and 12th houses, the Dusthanas, the so-called bad houses, and through these you will also be making do and strengthening many other aspects of your life, because the same a planet which rules the 6th house may also rule some other house. Similarly for 8th and 12th houses. So in a way, by just taking care of these 3 houses and the Lagna, you could be taking care of many other areas of your life, protecting your life and also creating your life for better bounty and more prosperity. So friends, this is my analysis of the Dusthanas. Please like this video, please share this video, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my new video is coming. If you're looking for a personal consultation from me, reach out to me at the links given below in the description box. Until we meet some other time, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.